This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Here's what's making headlines on this March 6th. All eyes will be on a Hendricks County high school after dozens of students made their feelings known about a fired staff member. This morning, why the staffer was fired and the community's plan to have their voices heard. 3 Indiana hospitals will start screening patients and visitors for the coronavirus. We're working for you with who hospital officials are telling to stay away. The calendar still says winter, but local road crews are putting snow removal on the back burner. The attention they're now giving to area roads that will hopefully make your commute a little bit smoother. But first, speaking of snow, we do need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right. A few snow flurries out there to start off your day, which is crazy because it's been so warm all week. So this is kind of the speed bump you said, Kyle, in our forecast.
Yeah, one of those temperature swings. The good thing is it swings through and it swings out pretty quickly. Here's a look, though. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of light snow activity. So it's very light. We're not expecting any accumulations out here. But as we go in for a little closer view, still that rain-snow mix just stepped outside. We've got some snowflakes in the downtown area, but still mixing as we work our way south through portions of Johnson and Morgan counties there. Some light snow showers around Lebanon into Noblesville, Muncie, and Anderson this morning. So TrueCast shows that will continue through the morning drive here. As we go into the late morning, just a few flurries are going to be left, and we'll see a couple of sprinkles in eastern locations. Temperatures in the middle 30s for us. That's also going to help out the roadways, just melting any of that snow as it comes down, but it feels like we're in the 20s. This morning as you head out there, we'll keep temperatures in the lower to middle 30s and those chilly wind chills.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on your commute this Friday. Again, you'll have to watch out for any snow flurries out there, even some rain, but it shouldn't slow you down too much. Here's a look right now. Coming in for the west side, Brownsburg driver starting off here at State Road 267, heading eastbound on I-74 all the way to the I-465 ramps. A quick 7-minute drive there, so no delays. Right now, I want to take a look from our live drive vehicle. Our photographer, Eldon Wheeler, in the driver's seat this Friday morning, and this is a dash cam view where you can see the rain droplets there on the cameras. He's heading southbound out of the downtown area on 65, and you can see everything there is open and traveling up to speed. So let's take you up to the northeast side, Hamilton County. This is a live look in Fishers. Good morning to you. I-69, a view here from 106th Street. Traffic is moving along just fine northbound and southbound. Of course, we'll keep an eye on your roads this Friday morning, and we'll keep you updated on any delays.
The community response for change is growing louder in Hendricks County following the firing of a school staff member. Not for misconduct, but for trying to report it.
First, parents and now students are saying that the district sending the wrong message. Our Cameron Riddle is live at TriWest High School, where students send a visual message to those school leaders. Cameron, good morning.
That's right. Good morning. Several students here are making their feelings known loud and clear to school administrators after they walked out of class. Now this morning, we are hearing from students and community members who say how the district is handling this is just going about it the wrong way. TriWest fired Attendance Secretary Dave Pyatt this week after he talked only to RTV6. He, along with many parents and community members, questioned how administrators handled claims against teacher Tyler Bruce. Bruce is accused of sexual misconduct with a student. Pyatt says he saved surveillance video evidence related to the allegations and shared it with law enforcement and RTV6 because he did not trust the district to preserve that footage. Many students say firing Pyatt sends the wrong message.
Coming here and being ashamed of where I come from now and being ashamed that our school board or anybody has done nothing about it and that they fired somebody for doing the right thing before they fired anybody else involved in this investigation is ridiculous.
School corporation has not been dealing with. They refuse to acknowledge our problems, and they aren't doing what's right. So we're trying to get them the message that they should do the right thing and reconsider their choices.
In a letter to parents, the interim superintendent says students who participated in the walkout, which took place after a planned fire drill, were counted unexcused if they did not return to class. Northwest Hendricks officials declined RTV6's request to speak on camera about that surveillance video, which contributed to yesterday's walkout. We're live this morning at TriWest High School. I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you. Covering the Statehouse this morning, a compromise could prevent possible roadblocks for the next phases of a major public transportation project. We told you last week an amendment to a state bill would create penalties for Indigo if it does not raise 10% of the funding for its projects from private donations. That could have a big impact on the purple and blue lines. On Thursday, Indiana House Speaker Brian Bosma said a lawmaker is trying to create benchmarks to phase in the 10% rule, but there was no agreement yet. The legislative session ends next week. Hoosier lawmakers passing a bill giving more educational opportunities to kids living with disabilities. The House and Senate unanimously passed House Bill 1341. The bill will help people who left school with a certification of completement or without graduating get their diplomas and enter the workforce. If it becomes law, a state advisory council will need to develop a plan to find those students and discuss their trade skills and help them get a diploma. The bill is now headed to Governor Holcomb's desk.
It is 5:06 this morning. Olive Garden and the NAACP are looking into allegations of racial incident that took place at a southern Indiana restaurant. The restaurant involved is a store on Green River Road that's down in Evansville. The store's manager is accused of complying with a white customer's demand to replace her table's black server with one who wasn't black. This morning, the manager involved is no longer employed with the store. An Olive Garden spokesperson says the company does not tolerate discrimination. The Evansville NAACP president says the organization has not received a formal complaint, but it is also investigating.
An Indianapolis man convicted in a love triangle murder will spend 60 years in prison. In January, jurors found Dominique Johnson guilty of the murder of August 2018 shooting of Antoine Walton in the parking lot of a Northwest Side apartment complex. Investigators say Johnson tracked down Walton in the lot on Lenox Lane and shot him in the head. A friend who was with Walton shot and wounded Johnson. Investigators later learned the shooting stemmed from a love triangle involving Walton and Johnson.
Time now is 5:07. 3 Western Indiana hospitals will start screening visitors and patients for the coronavirus before entering the hospitals. Those hospitals are Union Hospital in Terre Haute, Clinton, and Terre Haute Regional Hospital. The facilities say that they'll screen visitors in a manner consistent with CDC recommendations. Those hospitals will also limit patient visitors. Union Hospital officials say anyone with a fever or respiratory infection should avoid the hospital's facilities. Meanwhile, a parent of a West Lafayette Junior High School student is being tested for the coronavirus. This morning, there are no confirmed cases of coronavirus here in the Hoosier State. According to an email from that district, the student is not in school and has no symptoms of the virus. School officials say the student does not plan to return until they're sure that family members do not have the virus. The school is being deep cleaned just as a precaution.
It's still winter, but instead of snow, repairing the streets are now center stage. The Department of Public Works announcing the first phase of this year's strip patching operations. 4 roads will be repaired this week, including a stretch of Hannah Avenue on the south side. Strip patching is a more permanent solution than filling potholes.
With the help of both DPW employees and $4 million in construction contracts for strip patching, Indianapolis will use this effective technique to prioritize safe travel along our roadways.
Parts of 79th, 21st, and Meridian are the other streets scheduled for strip patching this week. Well, they might have a bit of a delay if they're trying to get started early this morning, Kyle. A little bit of snowfall out there.
Yeah, we got some snow showers, some rain showers, and these temperature swings are not helping out the pothole situation either. Looks like this is going to be very temporary, though, as far as the colder air moving in. You can see, again, very light precipitation on Storm Team 6 radar. If you've got some travel more nationally, well, the good news is once you get out of the Midwest, things are very quiet this morning. The colder air is taking over much of the country. Looking pretty good, though, in Miami this morning at 77 if you can get there to South Florida. 38 our high today, but look at that. The weekend is going to be in very nice shape. The sunshine returns, highs around 50 Saturday, lower 60s by Sunday.
Kyle, thank you. At this hour, police continue their desperate search for 2 siblings missing from Idaho. Coming up, the charges their mother faces as she stands in front of a judge for the first time.
Plus, Purdue and IU looking to advance in the women's Big Ten tourney. After the break, we're looking at who the teams will face as they move forward. We'll be right back.
Hoosiers, only on RTV6.
Lori Vallow will appear in an Idaho courtroom later today. Her 2 children have now been missing for months.
As John Lawrence reports, she and her husband fled from Idaho shortly after that investigation got underway.
Welcome back, Lori. Where are your kids?
Lori Vallow back in Idaho after waiving extradition from Hawaii. The 46-year-old faces numerous charges, including 2 felony counts of desertion and non-supportive children. 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow were last seen in September.
All of the authorities are concerned, and they have said since the beginning back in December that they believe Lori knows and she is deliberately misleading and not telling the truth.
The FBI is asking anyone who was at Yellowstone Park on September 8th to turn in their videos and photos that may show J.J. and Tylee.
Tylee wasn't seen after that day. J.J. was, so it made me very sad.
It's a lot of emotions. According to court documents, Vallow asked people to lie to the authorities during the investigation into the disappearances. Bail is set at $5 million.
She was asked to present the kids. She didn't do it. The prosecutors are going to say, if you were not concerned about violating that court order, who's to say you're going to return when you're required to return to court?
Working for you, John Lawrence, RTV6.
It is 5:14. The former United Auto Workers president is accused of funneling more than $1 million from the union that he was supposed to be leading. Federal prosecutors say that Gary Jones was a key player in the corruption scandal that rocked the UAW. He's charged with embezzlement, tax evasion, and racketeering. Prosecutors say from 2010 to September 2019, Jones and other UAW officials spent tens of thousands of dollars on lavish trips, restaurants, spa services, clothes, expensive cigars, and much more. The corruption investigation is still ongoing. 11 people have pleaded guilty in connection. Facebook is in the process of taking down a misleading re-election ad for President Trump. Yesterday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi raised some concerns about the ad, which directs people to a survey labeled census. She was worried people would confuse it with the once-a-decade head count that's happening right now. In a statement, Facebook said it's enforcing policies to prevent confusion over the 2020 census. The Republican National Committee says it will add different language to make the survey clear that it's not part of this census.
We're working for you with a recall alert. You'll want to pay attention if you have a Toyota parked in your driveway this morning. Toyota has expanded a recall of its vehicles by more than 1 million due to fuel pump issues. The vehicles include some popular late-year models like the Highlander, Tacoma, Camry, and Corolla. The recall also includes many Lexus models. A faulty fuel pump could make your car stall out and cause you to crash.
Ready for an out-of-this-world vacay? Well, you should be able to take a vacation on the International Space Station in the next year. SpaceX has signed a deal with startup Axiom Space to take tourists, private researchers, and other individuals to the International Space Station. The mission will use the Crew Dragon spacecraft, which can fit up to 3 passengers and a trained flight commander. Once the Crew Dragon attaches to the space station, passengers could spend at least 8 days there before returning to Earth. The companies say the first mission could happen as soon as the second half of 2021. Now, Kyle, we've had some stories like this before, and Meredith and I say, not for me.
Yeah.
Raphael was all about it.
Really?
Yeah, what do you think? Would you go?
He's like putting on an astronaut suit as we speak.
I'll let Raphael go first.
Okay,
He can test it out, see how it all goes.
See if it's a sure thing.
Yeah, I think we need some test runs. All right, here's a look at visibility. We've got some rain and mainly snow showers at this point. It's not impacting visibility too much, but you can see Frankfort under 7 miles there, close to 6 miles in Kokomo. So you may want to allow just a little extra time as you head out the door this morning. We are pretty full on Storm Team 6 radar across central Indiana as far as the precipitation coverage goes. And you can see even now around Bloomington into Columbus and Seymour, we're making that transition more to some flurries and very light snow showers. And of course, that continues along I-70 and even as we get toward Marion, Hartford City, back through the Frankfort area and Delphi, Kokomo, even still mixing in a little bit of that light rain activity. It continues through this morning and your morning drive. As we get to the late morning hours, a few flurries will be left over. Now, I think with some of that wind off the lake and the storm system holding a little bit closer in Ohio, we may still have a few of those rain showers as we go into the afternoon over the eastern third of the state, around Muncie into Richmond and even Connorsville as we go into this evening as well. A little wet there on the Weather Now camera network. network, we've got 35 downtown, 38 in Bloomington. So temperatures are above the freezing mark. That is certainly going to continue to help things out on the roads. What's not helping us is this north to northwest flow and that wind that's between 10 and 20 miles per hour already this morning. It will be windy as we go through the afternoon. Those gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour. These are the steady winds, and that's going to keep the temperature from really moving, holding into the 30s and wind chills in the lower 20s to around the teens this morning as we get into the afternoon, feeling a little bit better at 30 degrees. But it will be a blustery day. Tomorrow, we rebound pretty nice, upper 40s to around 50 degrees for that afternoon high. And of course, we spring forward this weekend. That means we need to turn those clocks ahead an hour Saturday night. By Sunday morning, the sun then not rising until after 8 o'clock in the morning, but it won't set until 7:44 in the evening. 7-day planning forecast now as we put things together here for you. And along with the warming temperatures this weekend, we've got some sunshine back in the forecast. Next week, we've got rain that returns to the area. Could see some areas of heavier rainfall at times. Temperatures, though, staying mild with those highs around 60 Monday and 50s the rest of the week.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're starting your Friday. You can see the windshield wipers working here on our live drive vehicle. Right now, our photographer Eldon Wheeler is driving on the east side on northbound I-465. This is a look near Washington Street where traffic is moving along just fine in this direction northbound and across the way southbound, so no issues. Let's take a look at your drive times right now as you're heading out on the west side from eastbound I-70, starting here at Ronald Reagan Parkway, heading to I-65 at the south split. You can expect a 12-minute drive, so everything there is traveling up to speed. Of course, we'll keep you updated.
A big day on the court ahead for two Indiana teams looking to advance in the Big Ten women's basketball tournament. Our Brad Brown previews what we can expect from IU and Purdue as the tournament continues today downtown.
The noon start time was not too early for Purdue on Thursday. The Boilermakers got up to a fast start in their matchup against Michigan State. 5 different players scored during a 13-3 run in the opening quarter that gave Purdue an early double-digit lead. They kept it going with a trio of 3-pointers in the second as the lead got as high as 14 points before halftime.
Definitely think when we get off to a good start, it kind of builds the momentum for the rest of the game, and we just kind of kept the momentum going, and we fought hard together. It was just a lot of fun. You saw all the smiles out there and people knocking down shots and people stepping up, and it was just a really great game for us today.
McLaughlin scored 17 points to lead the Boilers. Ariana Harris and Dominique Oden each added 15. The lead was 15 heading to the fourth quarter. MSU made a surge in the final 5 minutes, got it down to a 6-point margin, but Purdue was able to put it away. 20 assists on 27 field goals by the time it was done, and a 72-64 win to advance.
We were just due to really connect and play well, and then, we wanted to get the ball inside immediately, and we did. Our first probably 8 points got inside, so that just really elevated the confidence. But that's all we talk about is building confidence in the defense today.
So Purdue's win moves them on to face the top seed Maryland in Friday's quarterfinals. That half of the bracket also includes number 4 seed Indiana. The Hoosiers coming off a record-setting season that saw them win 13 conference games, 23 victories overall.
Right now, I think we're headed up, and I think that's the best time to be headed up. And I think a big part of that is, again, our confidence. I feel like everyone's playing with confidence.
It always comes back to the team, right? The team, and that's what we talk about. We talk that, it's been a great, you go through the non-conference and the Big Ten season, and now it's a new conference. We have an opportunity to win a championship.
And by the way, if Purdue and Indiana both win Friday, they would go head-to-head in Saturday's semifinal. At Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Brad Brown, RTV 6 Sports.
Purdue's game against Maryland tips off at noon. IU will follow with their game against Rutgers. That game is scheduled for a 2:30 tip. We'll have highlights for you on the news at 6.
Hollywood welcomed you with open doors. No matter what they gave you, you still wanted more.
Well, the Dixie Chicks are making their way back into the country music scene after the break, when you can hear more of their new music. It's 5:22. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Therapy for $269 a month.
The Dixie Chicks are back on the country music scene for the first time in 14 years. On Wednesday, the trio released their first single, Gaslighter, off their upcoming album of the same name. As of this morning, the music video has nearly 2 million views. The last album from Natalie Maines, Emily Strayer, and Marty McGuire, taking the long way, won Album of the Year in 2007. The new album is set to release May 1st.
From the "we can't make this stuff up" file, a Louisiana police department pulling over a driver with an expired license plate. Sounds about normal, right? Well, now look at the expiration date. The sticker says September 1997. The driver told officers that they'd been busy lately and forgot to renew the registration and would take care of it as soon as they got home.
Same.
No word this morning if the driver faces any charges. I feel like this is one of those adulting moments. We've discussed this where it's like, oh, you have to get a new sticker. Like, oh, my dad normally puts my sticker on my car. Now I have to do it. Yeah.
Oh,
so that person maybe didn't know and they never figured it out.
For example, I recently, and by recently I mean within the last few weeks, learned that the literal date that your plate expires is on the plate, not just the
Kyle's
year.
like,
Did you know that? Probably, because you're intelligent. All right.
Adult things.
But the fun thing was having to renew the license for your birthday.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, this doesn't last forever.
All right, so if you're heading out this morning with those plates that are up to date, you need to grab that umbrella. We got that wintry mix, but by this afternoon, we're in good shape. You can leave it at home.
Today at 10 on RTV 6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Students at TriWest taking a stand after they say a school staff member was wrongfully fired.
Hear their message to school leaders and the district's response. Plus, there are no confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in the state of Indiana, but some Hoosiers are still being impacted by that outbreak.
Details on what measures some colleges and universities across Indiana are taking to prevent the spread of the virus. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right. Here's a live look downtown view to the west. As I was driving in, Kyle, things changed from some rain, scattered showers into a little bit of a snow flurry. What's going on out there right now?
Yeah, and we still have that going on, kind of the battle between some rain showers and snow showers, but it's all very light out there. You can see on Storm Team 6 radar where we've got still some of that mix that's going on. More in the way of some snow showers and flurries around Frankfort into Boone County and Lebanon. Noblesville, it's going to be a little bit on the snow showery side for you this morning, and up and down I-69 in and out of some of those snow showers. Still back and forth a little bit of light, chilly rain with some snow mixed in here around Seymour into Columbus, Nashville, and Martinsville, even across much of Johnson County. So through the morning rush hour, we are going to have those light showers across the area. But you notice as we go into the early afternoon, I think it's really just going to be around Muncie and Richmond that a couple of those showers hang on. Checking out temperatures, they are above the freezing mark, so the roads are just going to be on the wet side out there. Wind chills, though, are in the 20s. As we go through today, it stays cold and breezy. Numbers are going to be stuck in the 30s for highs.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on your roads as you're heading out the door this morning. Here's a live picture of I-69 at 106th Street. A view here of Fishers, and you can see traffic there is moving along just fine, no delays. So let's plan out your commute. Travel with me down here to the south side as you're heading up State Road 37, starting off here near Barkersville. State Road 144 as you travel northbound there to the I-465 ramps. It's a 12-minute drive, so everything's traveling up to speed. And looking across here at starting off at Southport Road, heading up to I-70 at the North Split. If you're using Interstate 65, it's a 10-minute drive, so that is traveling smoothly as well. Let's take one more live look. This is our INDOT traffic camera at the ramp system at I-465 and I-69. You can see the wet roads out there, but we'll continue to monitor any crashes or delays and let you know if you need to reroute.
The community response for change is growing louder in Hendricks County following the firing of a school staff member. Not for misconduct, but for trying to report it.
First parents, now students, saying that the district is sending the wrong message. Our Cameron Riddle is live at TriWest High School this morning where students sent a visual message to those school leaders. Cameron, good morning.
Good morning. Students made their feelings known loud and clear following the firing of a school staff member, and they did so by walking out of class. Now this morning, we are hearing from both students and community members who says how the district is handling this is sending the wrong message, and they are not happy. TriWest fired Attendance Secretary Dave Pyatt this week after he talked only to RTV6. He, along with many parents and community members, questioned how administrators handled claims against science teacher Tyler Bruce. Bruce is accused of sexual misconduct with a student. Pyatt says he saved surveillance video evidence related to the allegations and shared it with law enforcement and RTV6 because he did not trust the district to preserve that footage. The school board is scheduled to meet on Tuesday night, and Pyatt's firing is renewing some calls for board members to resign.
You guys just need to start doing the right thing. You've had several chances to do the right thing, and you continue to fail, and you're just looking out for yourselves and trying to cover everyone's back, and it's finally starting to come down on you, and I think it's good that it's coming down on you. The right thing needs to be done, and the people that don't want to do the right thing need to get out.
Myself and a number of parents and community members have actually been working on petitions to have requests that the school board step down.
In a letter to parents, the interim superintendent says students who participated in that walkout, which took place after a planned fire drill, were counted unexcused if they did not return to class. Northwest Hendricks officials declined RTV6 requests to respond with an on-camera interview following the release of that surveillance footage, which helped contribute to yesterday's walkout. We are live this morning at TriWest High School. I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you. It is 5:34. Eastern Hancock schools will be back open today after shutting down for 2 days due to illnesses. There are roughly 1,200 students in that district. Earlier this week, the absentee rate topped 20%. Now, when that happens, the state recommends closing schools. The superintendent says students called in sick with illnesses like the flu, strep throat, and bronchitis. He stresses there are no coronavirus outbreaks in that district.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus outbreak. There are still no confirmed COVID-19 cases in Indiana, but the outbreak is impacting people here in the Hoosier State.
Several universities are enforcing travel restrictions now. UIndy, IU, Purdue, and Ball State are just the latest schools to cancel all university-sponsored spring break student travel to international locations. IU officials say in addition to exposure risks, student travelers could unexpectedly face U.S. and foreign travel restrictions while abroad. UIndy says its policy is in effect at least through the end of May. Ball State is canceling programs through the fall. Now, meanwhile, as cases of the coronavirus continue to increase across the country, Vice President Mike Pence says the U.S. can't keep up with the demand for those test kits. White House officials insist the administration will meet its goal of distributing more than 1 million tests by the end of the week, but also say the government is still way behind the anticipated growing demand for the tests in the coming months.
We don't have enough tests today to meet what we anticipate will be the demand going forward. As more Americans take an interest in this or have concerns about this, we want to make sure they have access to a coronavirus test as well, and we've made real progress on that in the last several days.
Current recommendations from the CDC say that potential coronavirus patients should be tested twice through an oral swab test and a nasal test. Congress passed an $8.3 billion emergency bill Thursday. Some of that money is expected to go to the testing kits.
Governor Eric Holcomb is endorsing a proposal that could enforce Attorney General Curtis Hill out of office. Holcomb said Thursday that he supports a bill endorsed by the Indiana House that would prohibit anyone whose law license has been suspended for at least 30 days from serving as Attorney General. Hill is facing a minimum 60-day suspension after allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior. He has denied wrongdoing and resisted calls for his resignation. The state Senate must approve the proposal before it goes to the governor. This weekend will spring forward and lose an hour of sleep Saturday into Sunday. We'll turn the clocks forward 1 hour at 2 a.m. Sunday. The Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission announced Thursday that it will allow the sale of alcoholic beverages to continue until 4 a.m. on Sunday, March 8th. This will allow for the same number of service hours as if the time didn't change.
Well, the women's Big Ten tourney is well underway, and it was a good day for the Boilermakers. Purdue facing off against Michigan State in the opening game. Chris McLaughlin led the scoring with 17 points, and Purdue led by as many as 14 in the first half. Ariana Harris, the former Lawrence North star, added 15 points. In the end, the Boilers pulled out their 18th victory of the season, winning 72-64. Purdue advances to the second round, playing Maryland at noon today. IU opens up their play against Rutgers around 2:30. If Purdue and IU both win today, they're going to go head-to-head in Saturday's semifinals.
Peyton Manning is getting ready for his third act. The former Colts quarterback is closing in on a deal deal with ESPN to become a Monday Night Football commentator. Manning, who has a pre-existing role at ESPN hosting his own documentary series Peyton's Places, has been at the top of the network's wish list since he retired in 2016. If the deal goes through, the 43-year-old is expected to bring in $20 million a season. During his 17-year career, Manning won 2 Super Bowls and 5 MVP awards. He also remains one of the league's most popular players. All right, here at 5:38, let's get a check at the weather with Kyle.
Yeah, and it is going to be a windy day. It's been breezy this week, but today we kind of dial that up a notch, and it's going to be a colder wind out of the northwest, steady at about 20 to 30 miles per hour, but we'll have some of those gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour here as we head through the afternoon. Those winds do start to relax with sunset and heading into tonight. Right now, we got a light wintry mix out there with those temperatures in the middle and upper 30s, 35 right now in Indianapolis, and that's what's giving us kind of that switch between some light snow showers and a few light rain showers mixing in. Temperatures this afternoon much cooler than where we've been the last couple of days. In fact, by about 20 degrees from yesterday's high. 38 today in the city, 39 for you in Columbus, and 36 in Lafayette. With that wind, though, it's going to feel like we're in the 20s. Looking ahead, though, this is encouraging. Right through the weekend, a big-time warm-up that's going to last into next week. We'll talk about the return of some rain chances in a little bit.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. People in Tennessee continue to recover after Tuesday's deadly storms. This morning, we're remembering those who lost their lives.
And a well-known vodka brand is making it clear that its product cannot protect you from the coronavirus. Coming up, why the company had to issue this unusual warning. It's 5:39. We'll be right back.
Specialist about to fix it.
Welcome back. As Tennesseans continue to pick up the pieces after Tuesday's deadly tornado outbreak, we're learning more about those who lost their lives.
Authorities have identified a majority of the victims. Their ages range from 2 years old to 67. Among them, a couple married nearly 60 years who died side by side. ABC's David Muir has their story.
Just days after 2 tornadoes hit Tennessee, one more discovery. What one community is calling a lasting love story. James and Donna Eaton discovered together. They did not survive. They were married for 58 years, born and raised in East Nashville. They would meet when they were just kids, and they would grow up to marry. They raised their family in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. 3 children, 4 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren, the pride of their lives. They were found in their home side by side. The mayor tonight calling them model citizens, model church members. Donna Eaton served the church for 25 years. There on the right. Their pastor saying to know them was to love them. They loved their friends, a group they knew since high school. They played cards every Friday night. And their grandson Jake telling us they exemplified what it was to love. They were our family's inspiration.
At least 24 people were killed in the storms. President Trump is expected to head to Tennessee to survey the area later today. He has declared a major disaster in the state that will provide money that can be used for temporary housing, home repairs, and low-cost loans for uninsured property loss. Some money will also go to state and local governments as well as nonprofits to fund emergency work in the area.
At 5:44, we want to go to the latest on the presidential race. Senator Elizabeth Warren suspended her presidential campaign. Speaking outside her Cambridge home, to the one-time frontrunner promised to continue the fight. Warren had a very poor showing on Super Tuesday, coming in third on her home state of Massachusetts. The race is now essentially a 2-man lineup between Senator Bernie Sanders and former Vice President Joe Biden. Both called Senator Warren on Thursday, but she's not said which candidate she will endorse. Representative Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii is also still in the race, but she's only won 2 delegates.
In New York, disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is finally on his way to Rikers Island. The 67-year-old had a stent placed Wednesday after suffering chest pains during his initial trip to the prison over a week ago. Weinstein was hospitalized after being convicted of sex crimes during a trial last month in New York. He faces a minimum of 5 years and maximum of more than 2 decades in prison. Sentencing is scheduled for March 11th. Weinstein faces additional charges in California. No hearings have been scheduled for that case yet.
You are saying that you are totally responsible for the murders of those police officers?
Yes, I am. I'm the only one that shot anybody that day.
And Nathaniel Woods is completely innocent, you say?
Absolutely. He didn't know I was going to shoot anybody.
A man in Alabama is taking responsibility for the murders of 3 police officers attempting to save the life of his co-defendant. Kerry Spencer confessed to killing 3 Birmingham police officers back in 2004. Prosecutors say officers were arresting him and his friend Nathaniel Woods at an apartment when Spencer opened fire. Both were convicted of murder and sentenced to death. But over the years, many came to Woods' defense, arguing his lawyers were incompetent and pointing to Spencer's confession. The Supreme Court issued a temporary stay Thursday, minutes before Woods was to be executed. The court later denied the stay, and Alabama Governor Kay Ivey refused to step in. Woods was executed by lethal injection last night. No execution date has been set for Spencer.
Take a look at this. Snowy weather in Wisconsin causes a plane to skid off the runway, landing upside down. Officials say the single-engine plane apparently flipped over when attempting to land. It landed upside down and came to a rest between a taxiway and a runway. According to airport officials, the aircraft was delivering FedEx packages. The pilot was taken to the hospital to be monitored and is expected to be okay. We've got our eyes on the skies this morning, Kyle. A little bit of snowfall out there.
Yeah, winter holding on here just a little bit longer into early March. You can see we've got some rain and snow showers out there, but this is all very light activity for us. Not going to see accumulation out of this. You can still see radar indicating bouncing back and forth here between some rain and snow showers around Columbus and Nashville, even into portions of Johnson County and downtown. Greenfield toward Noblesville, a little more in the way of some light flurries and snow showers, and you can see that's already starting to break apart here as we work our way back toward Kokomo into the Monticello and Fowler areas this morning. So TrueCast continuing to show some of those snow showers. Could still have a little bit of a wintry mix here as we go through the morning. A couple of flurries hanging on late morning into the lunch hour, and then it's really just the eastern third of the state where we could see a couple of light rain showers into the afternoon. Most of us will be drying out here as the day goes along. Temperature-wise, we're holding in the middle to upper 30s this morning. 35 in downtown in Martinsville, 37 in Bloomington and Muncie. But these winds out of the north and northwest between 15 and 20 miles per hour, that's going to be the other part of our weather story today, because it will be windy. And looking at that wind gust forecast here, between about 30 and possibly 40 mile per hour gusts as we head through the afternoon out of that cold northwest direction. So it's just going to make it feel even colder as we get towards sunset. Those winds will start to drop off just a little bit. But here's what it's going to do to our temperatures. Feeling like the upper teens and lower 20s this morning. And even as we go through the morning into the early afternoon, we're going to have wind chills in the 20s. Our temperature 37 in Indy and Muncie, 36 in Lafayette. Most of us are not going to get out of the 30s this afternoon. Slightly warmer around Bloomington at 42, but a wind chill of 33. Temperatures, they bounce back pretty quickly here as we get ready to spring forward this weekend. We're back to 50 degrees with some sunshine on Saturday. Breezy again on Sunday, but that does bring even more warmth our way with a high temperature of 61. So after a below average temperature day today, we're looking pretty good heading into the weekend and beyond, at least in the temperature department here. We're dry through Sunday. Then I think Monday starts off dry. As we get into the afternoon, another weather system will bring some widespread rain. Before that happens, we'll get to 60 degrees, and then the rain pulls away early on Tuesday. So we're not looking at all-day rains here. We'll have some dry time on Tuesday. Temperatures recovering back into the 50s. And as we get toward the middle and end of next week, you can see more chances for rain. It has been a very soggy 2020 so far. We've had some nice dry days here. The wind has also helped kind of dry out the ground a little bit. But you notice as we go into next week, yeah, we're going to need the dry time because the rain is back, and it looks like some early spring showers, as it's technically winter, are going to be back in the forecast.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. Let's plan out your drive right now, heading in from the east side. Right now, as you're traveling westbound on Interstate 70 from Post Road to I-65 at the North Split, no delays. It's a 10-minute commute. So let's take a live look outside right now. Across town, this is I-70 near the airport, and you can see our camera bouncing around there in the winds this morning, so use caution. Overall traffic in this spot is traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound.
A consumer alert this morning. IKEA is recalling more than 800,000 dressers due to a tip-over hazard. If you own one of these 3-drawer Cullen chests, the company says you should stop using it immediately. In a statement Wednesday, IKEA said it had received 6 reports of tip-overs involving the chests, resulting in 2 minor injuries. In 2016, more than 17 million IKEA dressers were recalled for the very same reason. At least 8 children are believed to have been killed by the recalled dressers. If you have one of these dressers, you can return it for a refund, order a free wall anchoring kit, or request that IKEA send someone to your house to attach it to the wall free of charge.
It is 5:51. Tito's Vodka is busting a myth that's spreading across the internet. The Austin, Texas-based distillery is telling some customers not to use its product to make hand sanitizer. Due to the shortage of hand sanitizer in a number of places, a recipe has been circulating online that shows how to make it out of Tito's Vodka. But the company took to Twitter on Thursday to dispel that rumor. In a tweet, Tito said, per the CDC, hand sanitizer has to contain at least 60% alcohol. Tito's Vodka is only 40% alcohol, therefore does not meet the current recommendation.
Social media is serious about its White Claw. The top-selling spiked seltzer brand is adding several new flavors after getting more than 70,000 requests from fans online. The new flavors are lemon, watermelon, and tangerine, and they will be sold individually and in variety packs. They join 5 other White Claw existing flavors, which include black cherry, ruby grapefruit, lime, raspberry, and mango. White Claw debuted in 2016 and exploded on social media last summer.
Cartwheels, backflips, and lifts. Coming up, meet the cheerleading team where burly truck drivers turn cartwheels, police officers form pyramids, and mechanics bust out choreographed routines, and it's all for a great cause. It's 5:52. Stick around. That story's coming up next.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
It is 5:55 on your Friday, and a group of New Jersey dads are going viral after showing support for their daughters with this amazing cheerleading routine. The Daddy Bolts learned a cheer routine, and then they performed it at one of the squad's competitions. The group said they only had 6 practices to learn these moves. According to one of the cheer coaches, the dads' perspectives on their daughters' cheering changed for the better after learning about all the work that goes into place at each practice. The group says the routine is just the beginning for the Daddy Bolts. They plan to learn another bigger and better routine for the next year.
Yes, daddies.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Look at them go. I love that.
Sean Casey, Mike Barrett.
They would not
They
do
sat
that.
through a lot of dance competitions back in the day, but I don't think I would ever see them.
There were always those parent routines.
There were, yeah.
Some brave and talented dads there.
I know.
Very brave,
man.
yeah.
They got the moves.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, what's going on in the forecast?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a mess out there, at least when you look at radar. On the roads, we're in pretty good shape, especially with temperatures above the freezing mark, but a little bit of a rain-snow mix that we're having to contend with out there this morning. If you've got travel across the country, though, look at how quiet it is. Really, we're just kind of the travel trouble spot here this morning. And as we look across the country, that colder air is sweeping in here, taking over across the upper Midwest. Good news is it's not going to stay very long. We have that high today of 38. The average is 47. But look at what happens here. We are already, of course, looking ahead to the weekend and looking forward to it. And we got some temperatures that'll be pretty nice to go along with it. 50 the high on Saturday. 61 will be our high temperature on Sunday. The second half of the weekend looking even better. We'll be right back here on Good Morning Indiana on RTV6.